you have got to understand this is a business. If this is how you run your business, because if something happens, you have no one else to fall on. So between the hours of 9 and 5 or whatever your business hours are, you have to understand that you're Superwoman at that time and your mindset is about your business.
Here today with April Hunter. And I want to bring April in because April is not a mega producer and she's not a low producer, but she's also had issues that's come up like everybody goes through in business. And I thought, and she's working really hard, and I'm bringing her on because I respect the tenacity that she has in getting things together here. So let's talk about it, April. Thanks for being on, April, today. I really appreciate it. Tell people where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Okay, my name is April Hunter. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in real estate for 3 years, and I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I work basically with sellers getting listings, and that's my niche, making calls.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Okay, good. No, and you're in a major metro market. I mean, Atlanta's not a small place, and so let's talk about, and that's why I want to bring you on, because I think sometimes people are looking at top producers and go, oh, I'll never get there, or how do you get there? And I want to talk to someone like in right where they are today, moving up forward. And we talked a little bit about earlier that, you know, you had some struggles and you're getting back. So tell me what got you off track with not a lot of detail, but just enough. It's a life issue. And then what did you find that you had to do to get back on track? Because man, these things happen to everybody.
You're absolutely right. And honestly, I thought that it would not happen to me. I felt as though my mindset was always so strong. But no, I am really going through a major separation right now. And with that being said, my year started off really well, and things got a little bit more difficult for me, and things started to go downhill. Let me just say, I should have closed year to date 12 deals right now.
Okay.
And I have closed only 3. And that was really, really heartbreaking for me.
Right.
And the thing about it is, I know it is my mindset, because I know there are days I get up and I'm getting up and I'm working, and some days I'm getting up and I'm like, and so I think it's my drunk monkey talking to me.
Right.
Try to get back in the swing of things, and it gets hard, But like I said, when I started getting on Espresso Agent, and then that's when I saw you, and things have really started taking a turn, getting back on the positive side for me, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you, and for doing it now. And you're not someone who had a small amount. Last year, you did how many transactions?
I did 25 transactions last year.
Right.
I'm a top producer in the state of Georgia, and I wanted that to double this year. I really, I want that to double.
Right.
But things happen.
So let's talk about the process. So you get into this. I remember that Jason Redmond, if you saw the interview that we did with him about ambushes in life. Okay, so you had an ambush, right? He talks about an ambush that he had as a SEAL team member. You had an ambush in life, which was separation, divorce, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. It affects you. And then you go into this little, like, I don't know, you feel like you can't do anything, right?
Right.
How did you finally get yourself pulled out of that issue and say, man, I got to go back to work?
Well, and be honest with you, it's still difficult, but when life hits you and you know that you're used to living a certain way and, having certain bills, and you just have to get yourself back situated. And again, I'm telling you, I thank goodness for me being on the dialer and knowing scripts. And Bill, I'm going to have to just say it, okay? Thank goodness that when I first started with the Espresso Agent, it was someone else. And then you came in, and I remember telling Diane, oh my goodness, I like this Bill guy. I like this person. He's really good. And when you told us to use, and I don't want everybody using it, but no, when you told us to use, I'm not sure if you can help me.
Right.
On the calls, that took me to the next level. And just being there every Monday has really helped. Just listening to you has really, because you're right, it's about your mindset. And that's one of the things, and being conversational, that's one of the things that you've talked about the most, and you're not salesy, and people appreciate that a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is not a Bill Crespo commercial at all, but thank you for that.
I'm serious though.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I work hard to make sure that I give you something that's going to make changes, because it there's enough stuff out there that sounds like it works, and but you need to feel comfortable. And what I'm hearing you say, April, that you kind of felt comfortable in that dialogue, and then so tell me, once you feel comfortable, what happens?
Once I feel comfortable with my slump I was in, or doing.
And when you start feeling comfortable in talking to people, because I think what happens sometimes, people get a little tense, right? They get a little I don't know what it is. They're apprehensive in talking, or but once you start to feel comfortable in conversations with people about how to find business, tell me what happens inside of you, because you were one way one time, and now you feel a little bit comfortable with what I call the rejection-free opener. What does that do inside of you for your business? Your confidence level
is on another level, and you feel very informed, you feel educated, and you feel like you're going to be the one. You're supposed to let the client talk, of course, but you feel as though when they hit you with a rejection, you'll feel as though there's nothing that you cannot overcome.
Right. Good. And so now let's talk about this, because this is, I don't think anybody talks about this. Okay. So you're going through this life event in your life, and then someone gives you rejection over the phone. You got enough stuff going on in life.
Right.
How do you keep moving forward? How do you keep your head in the game, knowing you got all this stuff going on, and then you got a little bit of this going on? How do you keep moving forward?
Okay, and this is another example, and this is true as well. I know this is not a Bill Crespo commercial, but no, it's true. Like you said, well, with me, I do a lot of calls, so I get that a lot. But like you said, you have to turn yourself into this superwoman during your hours of operation, regardless of what goes on. You have got, it could be anything. You have got to understand this is a business. If this is how you run your business, because if something happens, you have no one else to fall on. So between the hours of 9 and 5, or whatever your business hours are, you have to understand that you're superwoman at that time, and your mindset is about your business.
Wow, that's really important. Thank you for sharing that, because that's huge, because you got to learn how to block out all the other stuff happening, right?
You have got to.
Yeah. And so when you think about all that, what we talked about, the superwoman thing, is what we talk about transforming in the field of play, right? And the book that I always talk about is the alter ego effect, and how athletes had to transform going to the field. Like they turn into this like unbelievable super guy. Agents could do it too. What happens is, tell me this, if you carried on what's been going on in life, and then you get the rejection, and you don't transform to be this, for lack of a better word, superhero, what happens to your business?
It goes downhill.
Fast.
Quickly.
Yeah. And then, what are your options, April? What are your options at that point?
At that point, the only thing for me, I wouldn't have another choice but to go up, because at that point, once your business starts going downhill, and it has been me, as a matter of fact, it's been me this year, you have immediately got to get your mindset back into play. You have immediately got to get around people who are on the up and up, and who have good advice, and you have to just start working your business again, period.
Right. So something you just said is really huge. When you're in these situations, and this is why I brought you in, because this is real. This is happening now. This is not like, hey, I got out of it. You're doing this, okay? But right. You got to. I wanted people to feel where you're at right now. But you said something really important. You got to hang with the right people.
That's right.
You can't just hang out with people that are just, like I love these agents that can't wait to get on a role play call, and then they end up complaining about the business and complaining about physicals and expireds. If that continues, where are you going to go with your business?
Downhill.
Tell me about your schedule now. How you run it? What are you doing to get the thing back up, the business back up? How are you running your schedule?
So Monday through Friday, I have it right here. My daily schedule is right up here. It's in my mind, and it's also it's in my phone. But so on Mondays, of course, as you know, we'll do from 8:30 to 10:30, or sometimes from 8:30 to 11. That's when I'm going to call FISBOs and expireds. On Monday at that time, at 11, that's when we'll meet with you. And then after that, from 11:30 to 1 o'clock is when we're going to follow up. I have it set by hour. From 1 to 2 is lunch. From 2 to 3 is lead follow-up, and we're going to pre-qualify. From 3 to 3:30, I'm going to take another break. And from 3:30 to 7:30 is when I'm doing appointments. That's when we're going to go on an appointment. That's when we're going to prospect again, or that's when I'm going to prep for an appointment. And that's from 7:30 to 8. I'm going to be off, and I'm going to prepare for the next day.
So how do you handle, where does it go out of whack sometimes? And what part is the day that it's like, I got to really, really focus to hold it together, because I can go out of whack or get off track?
Right after the calls.
Right after
the calls.
Okay.
Yeah, right after 11:30, I'll start at that point. I may start doing some contracts or doing some paperwork, or I may have to step out really quickly, go run to Home Depot or something, Office Depot or something like that. That's when I can find myself getting a little off calendar.
Okay. All right. So let's take that. Let's go to that place where you're at. Mm-hmm. Now, what we got to work on is that we don't get off track. I mean, listen, we're not talking about you got to be 100% on, but we do have to be controlling 75 to 80% of our day, or else our goals, our dreams, our desires, right? And what's interesting, Dr. Allie Arnold, which we also interviewed on this program, is she talks about that the heart can override the mind. I want you to think about this. The heart can override the mind. So that means if you have passion, desire for you to achieve this level, because you're sick and tired last year, this life-changing thing that's happened, you just want to control it. The heart, this thing that you can't even explain, has to overpower it, because your mind's going to say, man, I got to go to Lowe's. I got to go, I got this contract that's blowing up. I got to take care of it right now. So let's think about this. How do we make this trigger or this thing different when you're going out? How do you alarm yourself? What do you got to do so it doesn't go off track?
Well, it seems like, what you just said. Like you said, you have to understand you have a bigger picture, a bigger goal. Yeah. Instead of me saying, well, April, let me go run to Home Depot, I have to say, no, sit down, do what you have to do, because you have to remember the big picture. You have to remember your passion. So that's what we have to stop leading with our mind and listen to our inside.
And that man's greatest motivator is the fear of loss, right? So for those of you that are maybe going through something similar to the April thing that's going through right now, is that this fear of loss. I mean, if you don't get this business up and running, there's going to be a loss.
Absolutely.
And it's called income. It's called money. And or just loss of your pride, a loss of your, your controlling of your life. So now that now that you have these tools, okay, what are the daily goals when they go off track? Do you do something, come back on track? Do you how do you play this game with your head?
Absolutely, I do. Let's say in the morning, which I very rarely miss prospecting in the morning. But when I do, I'm going to make sure I do it in the afternoon. If I don't get around to it in the afternoon, I'm going to make myself do it on Saturday. I do believe between the hours of 10 and 12, that's when I would try to make myself do that. Even on a Sunday, I'll try to do it at the church, or even I've started because I got so, Bill, it got so bad for me earlier this year. So what I've done is now I do activities where I may do, I just did a really big women's expo. I may do a festival. I may, go out and buy a booth or something for that to meet more leads.
Right. So, okay, so it looked like it cut off a little bit. But anyway, so what you're saying is you got to keep yourself active. I mean, you have kids, right, April?
No.
No? Okay. So you got all the time.
That's right.
You've got all the time. For those of you that have kids, you do have to balance your schedule out. I mean, kid issues happen. The thing is that, single mothers, it's tough. But you know what? Just as April said, man, being a super woman, doing the time that you've got to be that super woman, you got to be it. So if you only have, let's just say 5 hours a day to do your business at the highest level possible, you have to transform into that person. That means, April, you can't carry the stuff that happened at home or what's going on in life into your business. You know it's just going to be a bad day, so you stop it, right? You create that transformation, that what we call an anchor, that you change and you transform to superhuman. So let's talk about, go ahead. Do you have something to say? I'm sorry.
Yes, I do. And I want to say something to the single parents. Learn to also, even with your kids can also help you with your business. I have single mother friends who are realtors. They may use their kids to help them pass out signs, or sometimes people want to meet and greet kids. That's a soft spot for people. Yeah. And you can take your business to the next level with having kids, honestly.
Yeah. Listen, it's not okay to always be okay. We always want to show the business side, but you know what? The more that we are real, it's kind of like what we're doing right now with everybody's listening. Listen, there's enough stuff that you see all these top producers and all these great people, but let's get real. That's not always the same way with everybody. And April's being honest, and I appreciate that tremendously, because people need to hear the truth. The truth is, it's not easy. No doubt about it. The truth is that if you don't fix what's in between your two ears and focus, you're going to get off base, and then you're frustrated and you start going downhill. Mm-hmm. So what April's doing is fighting back the other lady. You got April, the lady who wants to do it, and April, the lady who wants to just lay back and relax, right?
That's right.
So you're fighting April and April, and one of those Aprils are going to win. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to win this year?
Well, the reason why I want to win this year, because I set a goal last year, and I do not like when I do not achieve my goals, because I know I work hard. I know I get up and I try to follow my schedule, and it will really let myself down. And not only that, I have older parents that I help. It's just not, that's my why. My niece, I have people that I assist, and I have to think about those things. And really, most importantly, me. I have goals that I want to make. I have set, and it will really hurt me if I cannot achieve them.
Right. And so how do you remind yourself of that every day? Because we could get off. Do you have a mechanism that reminds you of all the things you just said?
Let me tell you what I have done. Sometimes I may work from home, and I have to get up and remind myself to go to my office. But when I get up and I go to my bathroom, take my shower, whatever I'm going to do, I have written on my mirror, "Unstoppable April." And that's just what it is, Unstoppable April. And when I'm telling you, when I see it, it just does something to me, even though it's there every day.
Yeah.
When I see Unstoppable April, let me go ahead and get in this shower. Let's go.
Yeah. This is great. That's the anchor, right? Doesn't it trigger something?
It really does. I'm telling you, and I see it every day, and it really does.
I love that. It's like when I used to play Tina Turner in the mornings before I prospected, and Simply the Best. And she'd tell me, "Bill, you're the best. You're simply the best, better than all the rest." And I went, "That's Tina and me in the morning." So she got me going. So I love what you just said, the Unstoppable April. I'm not going to let you down now from this. I'm going to be calling you Unstoppable April from now on. So look, this is what you have to do, everybody. This is not just a little thing that we're just doing this on television or on whatever, we're putting this on the internet. This is something that you have to do. Your mind wants to go to complacency. You're fighting the success, because it's either the new person or the old person. One of them are going to win. Now, sometimes the old person wins an hour or two, but you can still control the rest of the day. We're in sales, and it's tough. Right. So tell me, now that you know this, what vision do you have of yourself and your business now? What do you see in the future for yourself in your business?
It's funny you ask, because I just said this yesterday. Honestly, I said, I feel myself getting back to where I was. I feel as though I still have that time to get the amount of transactions that I set out to get. I know my business, I know it's going to double from where I was. because I have implemented, like I said before, being on the Monday morning calls. At first, Bill, I was only calling expires.
Right.
Now we're doing expires. Now we're doing FISBOs, and now we're doing festivals. And a lot of agents here are not doing festivals because they don't want to spend the extra money. But me, I will. I'll put out 180, 200. I will, because I know the return I'm going to get. So I do that.
Yeah. And now listen. And festivals are fine, but if you don't know how to shake hands and kiss babies, I always say, and going out there and reaching out, you might as well just keep your money, because we have to meet more people. We got to get out of the office. We got to do FISBOs and expires, and we have to meet people, guys. I mean, my biggest commission came from a referral from an attorney from a networking thing, okay? And it was a 6-figure commission. Oh, so wow. we don't know what we don't know. So what I love about what you just said, April, is the fact that I'm going to put myself out there. I believe I can do much more than I ever done before. And this is because you're controlling your mindset. I get excited just hearing you say that. I mean, that's awesome. And you're not going to go back. You cannot go back.
Oh, no, I cannot. I have nowhere to go but up.
That's good. And this is great. So let's talk about the percent of buyer business versus listing business that you foresee this year. What is your percentage?
Well, it's going to be, honestly, let me just say, last year, 100% of my business was from listings, and any buyer that I had was from my seller that turned to my buyer. Right. Okay. Now, but since I'm doing the festivals, with that being said, once they're pre-approved, I know it's still going to be more sellers because I'm still going to always make my calls. That's one thing I'm always going to do. Right. So I'm maybe 60-40, 60% listings, or maybe 70. I know that that's my thing. I'm listings.
Yeah. So let me, just to play it safe, to grow your business and have high leverage, you probably want to be 70%. No more than 60%. That way, because if you have a couple of buyers that want to drive you around all day long, you're missing your time for prospecting. So that's that little balance that you got to have, but you want to be able to lean it towards the listing side of it. And a lot of times when you have teams, let's just say you're probably at 50-50 because someone else is taking the buyers out, right? So this is awesome. So now do you see yourself again in the future? Because I know some people want to have teams, and that's okay. Listen, if you don't want to have a team, that's fine. But where do you see your business going to unit-wise, total-wise, you think? And do you think you're going to have a team in the future?
I'm going to have a team in the future. Okay. I'm going to have someone. I'm going to have a buyer's agent, maybe one or two. I'm going to have that. Yeah. My goal is to have 50 units. Even though I know I have a low start, but my goal is at least by next year, I plan on having double from what I had this year.
Gosh. Okay, good. So definitely a team, and then and with that team, a buyer person. Now, a question I have: do you see yourself when you're doing transaction management? Okay, you got a deal. Where do you see that transaction going? You could hire someone or use a virtual person. How do you plan on handling that?
Actually, I had a virtual assistant in the Philippines. So, and I found that works well too, but no, I plan on having someone in office I can reach out and touch and say, this is what I need done. And let me look and see what you have, So I do plan on having an assistant.
At what point, unit-wise, you think you're going to hire that person? Like, how many deals would it take for you to go, I got the money coming in, I'm going to hire? I would say maybe
35 deals for me. Because I did it last year with 25 by myself. So I would probably say maybe if I had 10 more. At some point last year, I felt as though I still needed someone. But I would probably say about 30 to 35.
Yeah, I think that's about right. For me, when I coach my clients, I'm thinking, okay, right around that 35 mark. And when you hire that person in, or 36, then you're almost ready to go to that 40, 50 level with that person, and then you can take it to whatever level you want. But I think right around there is good. You could start off with a virtual assistant for a while. It doesn't have to be in the Philippines. There's plenty of little services around the country that you can work with. And then from there, you go from there. But I think that's great. So any advice that you can give someone who is in your shoes right now? I know you said about going to the Monday classes, but anything that you can say, hey, if you're in this situation right now, here's what I recommend. Give some tips to people.
Okay, yes, I can. Um, First of all, I do want to let you guys know, always, 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 please. I know it's hard. I know it's, sometimes you don't want to get out of bed. You've lost motivation. Find it. Get yourself back together. You have to know that if you do this full time, like I do, you've got to know that no one's going to support you but you. You've got to get up. You've got to open your business and run your business like a business. Also, understand that a lot of times that other agents are not your competition. Think of Macy's being your competition. They deliver Chick-fil-A. They deliver excellent customer service. What would we do if Chick-fil-A was closed? So get up and I always have a positive mindset. If you can't afford a coach, try to get a coach if you can afford it. If you cannot afford it, get one when you can. Just take it to the next level. Try to block out any negativity. Do not hang around negative people. Try to hang around people who are successful or people who have reached goals of where you're trying to go. So please take a heed of those things, because don't be like me, what happened to me, because now I'm getting myself out of it. And thank goodness.
What I love about all of this is that it's real right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's real. I can feel how real it is coming out of you and the passion that you have. There's no way that you're not going to be successful this year. First of all, I'm not going to let it happen. So that you're going to fail. So you're going to make it happen this year. And thanks, because there's someone right now going through it. There's someone who is feeling the pain, and you gave great advice. Hey, run it like a business, get a coach or someone to keep you accountable, block out all the negativity, right? Those things are really, really important. And I think that you're going to make it this year. And we got to get you back to go, it worked, right? So April, thanks so much. April Hunter, how can they get a hold of you if there's questions they'd like to talk to you?
Yes, please email me at aprilhunterrealtygroup@gmail. aprilhunterrealtygroup@gmail.
At Gmail. Perfect. All right. April, thank you so much. I appreciate the time you've given us, and you were great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bill, for having me.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye.